Chapter 1. Heartbreak. I ran down the stairs, as soon as I heard a car horn outside. As I got outside, I saw my boyfriend in his car waiting on me. I went up to the car and got in. "Hi babe." Logan Cummings leaned over to the passenger side and kisses me on my cheek. "Hi." I greeted as he started the engine and drove to school. We were at school in 20 minutes and we both got out. "I have to see my science teacher about an assignment, so I'll see you at lunch, okay?" Logan said to me. "Okay," I said. He was always meeting teachers a lot lately. I also noticed that he was avoiding me most of the times and canceling our dates. Logan and I have been dating for a year now, but recently, I've realized that he had become distant. Shaking my head of Logan's weird behavior, I went into the school's building. "Emily," I heard my best friend, Victoria Hernandez, shouted as I walked down the hall. I turned around and saw her walking up to catch me. Victoria was Hispanic and originally from Cuba. She has a great personality and would always include Spanish words into conversations. It was a good thing that I have been around her a lot, so I got used to it and learned a few Spanish words. "Hey chica," she said when she reached me. "Hey Tori." I smiled and hugged her. "My mom is inviting you for dinner tonight," Victoria said in her thick Spanish accent as we walked down the hall together. "Why? What's the occasion?" I asked. "There is no occasion. She is cooking her famous croquettes tonight and you know how she gets when she cooks her favorite Spanish meal," she said, as she rolled her eyes. "She wants to share it with everyone. She even invited mi abuela." I laughed. "Well, your mother is a great cook. How can I say no?" "Good. You don't want to disappoint her," she said. I shook my head as I thought about Maria's love for cooking. She is like my second mother and I tell you, she loves to spoil me. Victoria and I talked about random things as we head to our homeroom. After roll call, we head to our AP chemistry class, which we have together. The day passed by in a blur and now it was the end of the day. I left my last class and went to my locker to get the books that I would need. I looked up to see Victoria walking towards me. "Are you ready?" she asked when she reached me. "Yeah, let's go," I said, as I closed my locker. I suddenly slapped my hand across my face as I remembered something. "Oh, I almost forgot. I need to go up to the library to get some books. Wait here, I'll be right back." I walked quickly from her and went in the direction of the library. I reached the library and got the books that I needed and was now quickly running through the halls. Because of my movement, one of the books which I was carrying fell from my hands. I stopped in my tracks to pick it up. When I bent down to get the book, I heard hushed whispering and heavy breathing in the science lab that I was standing next to. I was about to ignore the conversation, when I picked up on a familiar voice. After listening for a short while, I realized that it was Logan. What was he doing here? I thought he told me that he had to leave immediately after school to run some errands for his mother? I stepped closer to the door and peeked in. What I saw in front of my eyes had me in total shock. In the corner of the lab stood Logan with a girl wrapped in his arm and they were making out intensely. Logan had his back to me and the girl had her eyes closed, so they didn't see me. Paralyzed with disbelief, I didn't do anything but stare at them. The girl had both her arms around his neck and he had an arm on her waist and the other on her thigh. The girl was familiar. Her name was Trisha and she was a nice girl. At least I thought she was. She would always call to me in passing. I guess she had me fooled. After a while, I came back to my senses and anger took over me. "So I see that this is your extracurricular activity," I said, my voice dripping with hostility. As soon as I spoke, both Logan and Trisha pulled away quickly. Chapter 2. Trying to heal. That night, I slept over at Victoria's house. After crying in her arms at school, I had told her what I had saw. She was just as surprised as I was, because she would always say that Logan and I would last and we were made for each other. I didn't even enjoy Maria's dinner and I always love it. I guess I was too distracted and heartbroken to enjoy it. Victoria did everything she could to cheer me up. We watched movies and ate ice cream all night. It helped because for a while I forget everything, but there was always something that brought the memories back. Logan called my phone a few times, but I ignored his call. When his calls became incessant and annoying, I shut my phone off. I didn't want to hear what he had to say. I didn't want to hear his lies and excuses. The following day, I was at my locker getting my books for class, when I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turn around to see who it was. When I saw the person, I turn back around. My anger returning again. "I know that you hate me, but please listen," Trisha said, behind me. I get the books I needed, close my locker and turn around again. "Why should I? Wasn't you and Logan making out enough?" She held her head down and sighed. "I'm sorry. Are you sorry because you were with my boyfriend or because you got caught?" I asked, bringing the books to my chest, crossing my arms. "It's not like that," she began. "Look, Emily, I have liked Logan for a long time now, so I couldn't help myself when he approached me. It was like a dream come true. Eventually, I came to my senses and I felt guilty about the whole thing, so I tried to end it, but I couldn't. You have to believe me, I didn't mean to hurt you." "Wait, how long has this been going on?" I asked, even though I didn't want to hear the answer. She brushed her black hair behind her ears, before looking down guiltily. 3 months, she whispered. My eyes widen. "You have been screwing with my boyfriend for 3 months," I said in total disbelief. "I can't believe this. This was getting too much for me to handle. Emily, I'm really..." Trisha began, but I cut her off. I didn't want to hear anymore. I felt sick at the thought. "I have to get to class," I said, turning away from her and walking to my class. I can't believe he had been cheating on me for 3 months. I said to Victoria at lunch. He has been toying with me. He used and played me. I feel like such a fool. Don't beat yourself up, Em. There is no way you could have known, Tori said, pushing her tray aside. We had finished eating and was just sitting down and talking. Yeah, but that's the thing. I did see the signs. He had been acting distant lately, but I ignored it because I refused to believe he would do something like that. I said, then sighed heavily. Tori looked at me with sad eyes. I'm sorry, Emily. She looked up, all of a sudden getting angry. Menudo imbecile. I'm going to cut off his balls and stuff it in his mouth. I laugh at what she said, feeling much better. When did you get so violent? Since that sorry excuse for a person decided to hurt my best friend. He shouldn't get away with it. Tori expressed. True, but I'm fine. I looked up at her and smiled a little. I will be fine. I'm just glad I found out when I did. Yeah, and screw him. He don't know what he's missing. Tori replied, cheering me up. Yeah, I said. Tori grinned at me, then stretched across the table and pulled me in a tight hug. The bell sounded signaling the end of lunch and we both pulled apart and giggled. Come on, let's get to class, Tori said, getting up from her seat. I got up as well and we both put down our trays and left the cafeteria. Tori and I didn't have the same class, so we said goodbye to each other and I head to my English class. As soon as I reached the door, I remembered something. Logan was in this class as well. How could I forget that? So much for avoiding him. When I entered the class, I spot Logan at the middle of the room where he usually sits. Chapter 3. I kissed the bad boy. When I got home, I head for the kitchen to get a bottle of water. My stepmother, Sarah, is at the stove cooking dinner. She turned around when I enter. Hi, she greeted me. Hello, I responded. She turned back around and continued cooking dinner. That was how it was between Sarah and I. We didn't really say much to each other. I didn't have anything against her. She was a nice enough lady. However, ever since my dad married her almost a year ago, she had never said much to me and I've never said much to her. Just greetings and small talk. Sometimes, I wonder if she hates me, but she has never done or said anything mean to me before. I didn't know my mother. She had died when I was just 2, so it has always been my dad and I. A year and a half ago, my dad met Sarah and I have never seen him more happier. She was the first woman that he dated that he truly loves. I was glad that he was happy and Sarah was the one to make that happen, so I didn't mind at all. Is my dad here as yet? I ask when I close the fridge. No. He's working late tonight. Sarah responded. Okay. I was about to leave the kitchen, when Sarah called my name and faced me again. How was school? She asked, surprising me. This was the first time she has actually asked me something like this. It was okay. I answered. I was lying through my teeth, because it was far from okay. I had to suffer through 2 classes with Logan. It didn't help that he was still trying to talk to me and I was still hurt by what he did. However, I didn't want to go through all that with Sarah, so I had no choice but to lie. Oh, okay. She smiled a little. Go and wash up, dinner is almost ready. She said. I didn't feel like eating. I didn't like the fact that I didn't have an appetite. I hate Logan for doing this to me. I gave Sarah a small smile back. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like eating tonight. Oh, okay then, was her reply. I turned away then and went upstairs to my room. When I got up to my room, I took a shower and began with my homework. An hour later, I finished my homework and was getting ready for bed, when I heard a blast of loud music. I looked through the window at the house next door, even though I didn't have to look to know who was responsible for the ruckus. It was no other than my next-door neighbor, Tyler King. Tyler goes to my school and he was a major player. He had almost every girl at Preston High falling over their feet for him. He didn't care for any of them. All that mattered to him was getting laid. A lot of the girls at school were happy with just one night with him. Some hoped, but they knew they couldn't ask for more. The longest he has ever been with a girl was a week. Tyler was like a caged tiger, he couldn't be tamed. Tyler spends most of his time getting into trouble and creating havoc at school. He didn't care much for rules. He just walks around without a care in the world. I remembered how annoyed I was last year when he and his parents moved beside us. I didn't care much for his attitude, so I spend my time trying to avoid him. We have never spoken to each other before, even though we have a few class together and live next door to each other. Our rooms were directly across from each other, so I would see him sometimes in his room. Sometimes with a girl, other times, his best friend, Seth Grant, was over goofing off and drinking. Right now he was alone in his room. I shake my head. I guess he decided that tonight was a good night to be a nuisance to the neighbors. I didn't want him to see me staring, so I turn away from the window and pull the curtains close. I finish what I was doing, turn off the light and got into bed. I was walking down the hallway at school the following day, when someone pulled on my hand to stop me. My back was turned to the lockers and the culprit stood in front of me, blocking me from escaping. When I saw who it was, I felt my rage building. I looked up, getting annoyed. Get out of my way. I ground out. Logan shook his head as he looked down at me.